The fourth step of lesson plan is comprehension. Comprehension is done on day 5 and day 6. It means that you are going to give 2 periods for comprehension. Comprehension is divided into 2 parts. Number 1 is verbal and number 2 is written. First, I am going to talk to you about verbal comprehension. Verbal comprehension is done on day 5. In verbal comprehension, you are going to use books by the teacher. The teacher herself is going to use the book, but the students will not have books in their hand. So, it is a verbal activity. And the skills which are focused in this step of lesson plan is listening and speaking. In verbal comprehension, teachers, this is not the regular way which we practice in our schools. We don't mark the answers, but we are going to ask the questions from the children and they are going to speak with the teacher. This increases their participation, their speaking power. They are going to give answers and the teacher are going to correct them. In this way, the content of the story will be more clear in the minds of the students. The method which you are going to follow for verbal comprehension is, you are going to move on to the comprehension section of your book. You ask the first question. You are going to ask the first question by 3-2 method. Why did Haris want a pet? Why did Haris want a pet? Why did Haris want a pet? Say it together. Why did Haris want a pet? Why did Haris want a pet? After asking the first question from the book, you are going to take answers. You give them clues and so let them speak and give answers. You are going to take 3 answers for the question number 1. After taking the answers from the students, you are going to ask them common questions related to the environment. For example, do you have a pet? Or the other example is, do you like animals? Or do you want to keep animals in your home? You are going to ask them questions which are common and related to the chapter. And you are going to take answers from them. In this way, the mind of the students will be open. They will share their views, they will give their answers, and the teacher is going to make them speak. So the whole activity of verbal comprehension will be completed in the day 5. This type of comprehension makes the students think and share their views with their classmates. And the teacher is going to ask them questions related to the environment. So each and every student will have the chance to participate. Now we are going to move on to written comprehension. Written comprehension is done on day 6. written comprehension is the part of lesson plan which is called the turning point, because the students are doing listening, speaking and reading for 5 days, and now it's the first time they are going to write. So the skills which are focused in this step are listening, speaking, reading, and now finally writing. Teachers, this is a very slow process, because for 5 days we are focusing on the 3 steps, and on the 6th day we move on to writing. But now you can see that we have moved on to the 3 steps of language development, and then we move on to the 4th step. We don't move on from reading direct to writing. We are following a slow process, but this will make the student understand the lesson very clearly. In the written comprehension, you are going to ask the first question which have generated the maximum answer in the verbal comprehension part. You are going to write that question on the board, and then you are going to take answers. After taking the first answer, you are going to repeat the answer by 3-2 method. And then you are going to say, now let's write this on the board, and you are going to write that answer on the board. After taking the first answer, you are going to take 2 more answers from the students. In this way, the question number 1 of the written comprehension is completed. Now you are going to follow the same procedure with the rest of the question. Teachers, in this way, the children are going to be motivated for writing, because it is a very interesting part. They go on writing in the old method. They keep on copying from the blackboard. But now, for 5 days, they were doing listening, speaking and reading. And then on the 6th day, they did writing. So written comprehension is done with this method. Now ask children to copy the answers in their copies.